Now, when it comes to everything going down in hip hop, well, if you are ready for the new Tyler the Creator album and are as excited as I am that real hip hop has never been more back, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now really, as from what Clipse just started and Tyler along with some very special guests is going to finish, we are about to see one of the best runs in rap that we have in years. Make sure to leave that like before we go any further into this so all of the stands of that lame old mid-rap see how much the right side in hip-hop is about to eat. And now with that said, well, now when it comes to Clipse, Tyler the Creator, and also Kendrick Lamar, well, now what we are seeing is that with these three hip-hop acts who have done more to push the genre forward than anybody else in this era where rap has been won back into the place that it always should have been, what is unfolding before our eyes is some sort of a canon event, because between the release of the Clipse masterpiece in Let God Sort 'Em Out, and now the announcement of Tyler's new album, Don't Tap the Glass, well, what we are seeing is that this has all been planned and it's all working to something much bigger, and we really do know this, as Pusha T did indeed allude to the fact that he was in on Tyler's surprise before it even fully came out. And now speaking of surprises, well beyond Pusha T already confirming that he is on the album, it's looking like Kendrick will be on this project as well. But now before we get into all of that and how crazy it's gonna be, we gotta slow things down for a second and just take a moment to see what is really happening right now, which is that beyond Kendrick's true start to the shift in rap in GNX, which of course we all saw, and of course it started an even newer elevation to the all-time great run than we could have ever expected. Well, now we are seeing the genre dominate with albums and moments that are setting the new status quo, and from what Clipse just did with Let God Sort 'Em Out, which now, aside from just in terms of the craftsmanship of it being one of the best rap albums that I have heard in years and years, just showed how strong and how much the culture wants music like this, as from doing 113,000 copies first week to then doing such impressive numbers, all while industry sabotages with smear campaigns and leaks were going on. And then on top of that, album drops from Travis Scott and Justin Bieber, which even with the competition there, well, going against an actual pop star and a rap pop star, Clipse is already outstreaming Travis, and then for Justin Bieber, only moved about 50,000 copies more than them. It shows that they are literally competing with somebody who was once considered the biggest artist on the planet, arguably. And so overall, as a result of the Clipse doing all of this and at that independently, they have won over the entire music industry, and they are showing in hip-hop that the times are changing, as we are now in an era where people care more about their album than Travis Scott's, according to the streaming charts and even first week sales wise in terms of what's not counted for bundles and stuff like that. And now speaking of first week sales, as the Clipse also just outsold Lil Wayne with an entire installment of the Carter series, which is absolutely nuts. I mean, overall, with hard work and dedication, the Clipse have really managed to rise to a level where they are closer to Justin Bieber than Lil Wayne and Travis Scott are, and truly that is nuts. And now beyond all of the success Clipse is seeing and how great this album is, beyond all of what the optics are showing the culture's responding to, what is really about to make everything for the Clipse and their album even better very soon is a moment that is only going to make the very world and ideology of this record just get a lot bigger, and at that only 10 days after its release, and this will be through who Pusha T told us was the biggest Clipster in none other than Tyler the Creator, and now with Tyler. Well, now when we look at POV from Let God Sort 'Em Out and see what he did there and what I think we will end up seeing overall, is how that song for him was really like something like Family Ties was for Kendrick Lamar before Mr. Morale. And what I mean by that is that overall this new verse and feature was teasing to us what this new album and era is really going to mean for him, which based on the switch we saw from there to Chromacopia, well, from the bravado to the anger to the focus on calling out some people with a diss about getting sued, which seems to be about Playboi Carti, and then with even some other lines about heroes letting him down and things like that, well, Tyler is letting us know what is on his mind as he is getting us ready for a surprising new chapter in his career already. And now when we look into the context of what Tyler has been doing even more, and at that alongside the Clipse, well, Pusha T has confirmed he is on this album with a post already, and just like we saw when he was following Kendrick Lamar on tour for a second, well, seemingly with Push being right there with Tyler at his Madison Square Garden show, the same thing could have happened here. As now, as Push ultimately did go on to tell us that the mystery feature they were waiting for with the Clipse album all along ended up being Tyler, and they didn't get it until a few months before the album dropped. Well, as Push did tell us in this that Tyler has had a studio on tour with him, now we can see why beyond a single verse he has had this entire thing, and it's because he's been making these songs while on his biggest tour ever. And now really, despite Tyler seeing all this success and being on such a massive tour, as he has been involved in so much in terms of everything surrounding his name and just a rap game that is falling apart to be rebuilt, well, he really will have a lot to address here. And now when we see the clear interconnectedness between even albums like GNX and Let God Sort 'Em Out, and see how Kendrick and Clipse have been locked in on this side of hip-hop that Pharrell, Jay-Z, and even Nas are standing on alongside with them to bring rap into this era where lyrics matter and also artists have more control over what they're doing. Well, really, it seems like now while Chromacopia was a record that Tyler needed to put out to tell an essential part of who he is to all of us, just like we saw with Kendrick Lamar and Mr. Morale, well now with maybe the most important moment of his career out of the way personally, Tyler is seemingly ready to get competitive lyrically, just like we saw on POV, and put on an album just like what his favorite peers and idols just did, that overall is showing that the era where we all applauded for mid is over, and now the real rap takeover is here. And just seeing how close these releases are for Tyler and Push and how locked in they have been together, I mean, we literally do know that none of this is happening by coincidence, and Tyler would only do this if they were on the same page, because he wants Clipse to have their moment, but there is seemingly something so much bigger at hand here altogether. And so now with all of this said and understood, when we look at everything we know about this new Tyler album, Don't Tap the Glass, well, altogether, just from the title, cover, and world building that we are already getting from Tyler the Creator, and of course, what he showed in terms of the timing he is on with POV, we can learn so much about what is going to define this record, which I do think is fairly clear. And now when it comes back to this idea of the Clipse, Kendrick, and Tyler records all being interconnected, well now first off for GNX, as Kendrick really tapped into something so much bigger than himself by leaning into the influence of Tupac, DMX, and Nas, and Kendrick did literally tell us during his pre-Super Bowl interview that to make this album, he was trying to make music that gave him the feeling of listening to the classic rap albums that he heard growing up. And then for Let God Sort 'Em Out, while Pusha T and Malice both said that along with Pharrell, they were trying to make songs that capture not the actual sound or aesthetic, but the feeling of defining rap moments for all of them, like when the first time they heard Biggie Smalls was, or when they heard Shook Ones, for example. Now, seemingly with the cover we have gotten from Tyler, which seems to mirror 50 Cent a little but more directly, LL Cool J, and also even Ludacris with the statue we have seen from him, well, I think it's not a far off take to say that Tyler is trying to follow in line with what Kendrick and Clipse have already done, and he is trying to restore that feeling back to hip-hop that we have all missed so much. And now, of course, just like Kendrick and Clipse, the references and callbacks won't probably be a stylistic thing or anything like that. But again, to just pull from these influences, it's simply to chase the feeling they felt when they heard defining hip-hop classics, which is something that I think is great to aspire to, and something that is making this movement feel so much bigger than just a single talent. And now really with all of this, and again to look further into everything we know so far, with the way Tyler has started out the rollout, which had him playing the last song of his Chromacopia tour setlist, Find Your Way Home, which during this he just said the name of the project, and then people walked out of the arena and saw the theming for it, and a statue of Tyler the Creator out of nowhere, which just in terms of how to roll an album out, this is all next level. Well, overall, this surprise is incredible, and just to really even begin a rollout like this when there is still a tour going on, well, this is something we don't usually see, but there has to be a reason, of course, for Tyler, and a good one at that, which now aside from helping push in this new era in rap and keeping us there, I think there is something much greater here at play for Tyler personally, and what he wants to do, which seems to be that now as he has healed himself and told his story personally in about as much detail as we will ever hear. Well, Tyler wants to get in on all the fun and rap and address a lot of things and people and show that he truly is the biggest in the rap game after Kenny, and that's a fact now. And now even going into this album, well now as it's looking like Tyler the Creator has a beef with Playboi Carti, I think we are going to hear a lot more about this, and we are truly going to get the full scoop on that. And I think beyond Carti, if I were Kanye right now, I would be scared, because after the things he said, which were both nasty to Tyler as a person and an artist, well now Tyler did tell us that he was going to outgrow his heroes on POV, and I do think that was foreshadowing, and we will hear more why on this record, and Ye will just get straight up dissed pretty bad. And now I think that there are going to be some more surprises on this record, and to be honest, I do think Tyler is finally going to tell us on some level how he just straight up hates Travis Scott. And really with this now, since Travis tried to play the charts game and move bundles to get #1 on the charts, and at that over his idols in the Clipse and Pharrell, well Tyler has all of the motivation to just embarrass Travis and show what a real superstar does in hip-hop and nothing else. And with all of this, Even if half of this comes true, we are in for something special, and when you see the rules that Tyler put up for this album already, well, it seems like this more sporty and flashy record is really going to happen, and we are going to see a side from him that we have just never really seen like this before. And now when it comes to this album and what Tyler just lied to us about right within the same way he did when he said there were no features on Chromacopia to keep things a surprise and to get people to try and stop posting ridiculous things, is of course who will be featured here. And now I do think that out of everybody, we will see Kendrick Lamar on this project, and we will finally get to hear these two together. And really, we saw Kendrick go into the studio that one time during his New York stops for the Grand National Tour. Maybe this was it, and Kendrick was getting ready to lock in with Tyler and make what is about to be a song that will go absolutely crazy. But now beyond Kendrick, who I really would be surprised if he was not here, because this really just seems like it's due, and it's almost been hinted to over and over again at this point now too much. Well, Pusha T seemingly confirmed he is on this record, and maybe that means that Malice is here too, which I think would be so fun to hear. And I think now whether it's production or vocals, Pharrell has probably been somewhere here, considering how Pusha T talked about how much stuff they worked on, even when Tyler was there doing his own stuff for Louis V when they were all recording together. And then of course how Push and Clipse and Tyler have all been talking back and forth. And now really I think beyond these names who we could say are sort of a new big three in this era where rap is just changing for the better, I'm sure there'll be some other surprises here, and I think Doechii is somebody that sounds realistic, and I wouldn't be too surprised if there is another legend here, whether it is Andre 3000, even Jay-Z, or somebody like that. And now with all of this, what I can say with certainty is that this album is just days away from coming out. Well, listen, we'll find out how much of this stuff comes true very soon, but now regardless of what this all amounts to fully, I think it's fair to say now that as rap is winning like it never has before, and the Clipse are just showing really what the new status quo in hip-hop is going to be, and how the culture is just yearning for these albums. Well, really now with Tyler the Creator coming up next, no matter what he does and how he moves, we are bound to get peak hip-hop that will change the genre once again. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think about the incredible numbers that the Clipse just put up and what this is going to mean for the future of hip-hop, especially now that we are really in a time where they are outdoing Travis Scott and they just absolutely embarrassed Lil Wayne. And now also as Tyler the Creator announced an album really just showed that we are about to get more peak hip-hop. What do you think is going to happen here, and what do you think this record's going to sound like? Who do you think will be on it, and what are your overall expectations? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about every single one of the things we talked about here. And now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right before this, well, now while rap is winning on one side, there are still crash outs that are doing really bad. And after both Drake and Nicki Minaj tried to get at Kendrick Lamar and SZA this week, Kendrick and SZA just responded by doing the one thing that is turning rap around and getting us to the point that we are at now, which is just sticking to the music. Check out the suggested video.